In the summer of 1987, something big was about to happen to the city of Indianapolis. Plans had been made. People had been ready. And now it was time for this growing Midwestern city, the crossroads of America, to step forward and assume the responsibility as host to the 10th Pan American Games. Harvest of Gold, the story of the 10th Pan American Games. With your host, three-time Pan American double gold medalist, Greg Louganis.
Hi, I'm Greg Louganis, and this is where it all began, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the famed Indianapolis 500. No stranger to crowds or spectacle, the city was nevertheless entranced by the game's opening ceremonies, when after months of planning and practicing, they took the show on the road. And what a show it was.
Ladies and gentlemen, the entire cast of Walt Disney World, the producers of today's ceremony, welcome you to Indianapolis and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the opening ceremony of the 10th Pan American Games. Please welcome the official mascot to the games, Amigo, and Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse.
All the pieces of the Pan Am puzzle came together in the spectacle of the opening ceremonies at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Saturday, August 8th, dawned threatening rain, but nothing could dampen the spirits of the cast of more than 20,000 performers who started things off in style with the dazzling overture. Created by Walt Disney World, the 3-hour spectacle was the biggest, most elaborate show they've produced to date and featured breathtaking aerial displays, singing, dancing, and favorite Disney characters.
Well, it's the heart of America, the heartbeat of a holiday. The place was made with a magical plan,
and just around the corner is a fantasy land.
I'm walking right down the middle of Main Street, USA. Jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang, jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang, jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang. Oh, you pretty jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang, we love you. And oh, pretty jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang loves us too. High, low, anywhere we go on jitty jitty we declare. Bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang, our fun for friend and friend. Bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang, our fun for friend and friend.
Jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang, jitty jitty bang bang bang.
Those magnificent men in their flying machines, they go up to the up, they go down to the down. They enchant all the ladies and steal the scene with their up to the up and their down to the down. Up, down, looping the loop and defying the crowd. They're all frightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flying machines. I'm walking right down the middle of Main Street, USA. I know it's no illusion, it's a dream that's here to stay. For the time of your life, you ought to find yourself here. You're welcome anytime you have the mind to appear. I'm walking right down the middle, right down the middle. I'm walking right down the middle of Main Street, USA. Main Street, USA. Main Street, USA.
Then, the moment had arrived for the traditional parade of athletes. Over 4,000 athletes from 38 countries entered the stadium to the cheers of over 80,000 enthusiastic spectators. The entrance of the American team brought the crowd to its feet, their exuberance mirrored in the faces of athletes like David Robinson, and setting the stage for the lighting of the Pan American torch. Throughout its 25-day journey from the streets of Mexico City to the back roads of Indiana, over 700 volunteers carried the torch toward its final destination. And as basketball great Oscar Robertson passed the torch to current world champion gymnast and Pan American favorite Christy Phillips, the final leg began. Taking the torch from Phillips was world-renowned runner Wilma Rudolph. The torch was lit, and the 10th Pan American Games had officially begun.
I was here in 1982 for the National Sports Festival, and I was particularly impressed with the city and its people. Since their success with the sports festival, Indianapolis has gained both recognition and a reputation as a major amateur sports capital. So to me, the city seemed to be a natural to host the 1987 Pan American Games. But actually, getting the games, well, that was another story.
The 10th Pan American Games, August 1987, Quito, Ecuador. Originally, that's the way Pan American history would have read. But following Ecuador's elections in the summer of '84, a changing political scene forced the small South American country to make a difficult decision. Ted Bohm remembers.
The biggest problem that Ecuador had was that they simply didn't have the facilities in either Quito or Guayaquil to stage a multi-sport event like the Pan American Games. That means big construction and that means big money, something that a small country simply couldn't afford. The main thing that Indianapolis had, of course, was its facilities and the experience in having hosted the games. But the United States ultimately is a country that many members of the PASA organization wanted to come to because they had some confidence that the games would really be staged in a first-class manner.
So in December of 1984, after much deliberation and an immense effort put forth by the Indiana Sports Corporation and the PAXI Organizing Committee, PASO awarded the 1987 Pan American Games to Indianapolis over Cuba, who got the nod for '91.
Indianapolis had several world-class sporting facilities already. So by the time the track and field competition started, Indianapolis was ready and so were the athletes.
Carl Lewis has said several times that the IU track in Indianapolis is one of his favorite places to compete. And so all eyes were on him as he tried to beat Bob Beeman's incredible 20-year-old world long jump record. It was a remarkable leap into swirling winds, 28 feet, 8.5 inches, a new Pan Am record, but still 6 inches short of Beeman's record set in the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. In between long jumps, Lewis showed off his running skills too, as the Houston athlete anchored the 400-meter relay, winning the gold for the Americans. Jackie Joyner-Kersee pulled off an unprecedented triple win in Indianapolis in 1987. In February, she received the Sullivan Award as Amateur Athlete of the Year, and the United States Olympic Committee honored her as their Athlete of the Year in April here in Indianapolis. On a hot August night, she went for the world's women's long jump record.
But now I don't get for the same one because I'm doing it.
After a lot of discussion, it was ruled that Jackie Joyner-Kersee had tied the record at 24 feet 5.5 inches. It was a flight to the gold medal in the long jump for Jackie Joyner-Kersee, and a proud moment for Jackie and her husband, Coach. There were some disappointing U.S. losses. Brazil's Joaquin Cruz overtook Jim Spivey in the 1,500-meter race. Cruz won this event at the 1984 Olympics and showed it was no fluke. Another Brazilian runner, Adalto Domingues, took on Henry Marsh in a thrilling finish to the steeplechase. It was Domingues just beating Marsh to the wire. Hoosier athletes competing in track and field had their ups and downs. Terry Braum of Bloomington finished second to Mexico's Arturo Barrios in the 5,000 meters. But watch this. Doug Padilla of the U.S. team, running last in the race, passed Braum in the final laps and then paced him, hoping to help Braum to victory. The former Indiana University runner finished second, then lost his silver medal because both he and Padilla were disqualified. Runners cannot pace each other in international meets. America's Judy Brown King in the 400-meter hurdles. It's a gold medal race for Judy Brown King, who grew up in Kokomo. Over in the discus competition, the bronze medal was won by Randy Heisler, an Indiana Central University graduate who lives in Warsaw. Gwen Torrance of Decatur, Georgia, proves she's as good as gold in the 200-meter women's sprint. And so is Floyd Hurd of College Station, Texas, in the men's 200 meters. One of the game's controversial episodes centered around Bill Green, a Californian who finished second in the hammer throw. But he lost his silver medal when it was discovered he used banned substances.
I will tell you that as long as I am a sports leader, I will be implacable in being against anything that is used that goes to hurt the athlete's health. Before becoming a sports leader, I was a competitor myself. And it hurts me very much to take a medal away from an athlete.
If you want to compete with the rest of the world, with the Soviets in the Eastern Bloc, you almost have to be taking some form of steroid.
But this Pan Am story ends on an up note. Valerie Briscoe helped the American team to victory in the 1,600-meter relay. Right after this race, Briscoe met Bobby O'Dare, a young man from Fort Wayne. Realizing that O'Dare was deaf, Briscoe gave him her gold medal as she posed for pictures taken by O'Dare's parents. She let him keep the medal, a lasting and treasured souvenir of the Games. The final tally, the U.S. won gold medals in 25 of the 42 track and field events. Overall, the U.S. was the big winner in an exciting track and field Pan Am competition.
Here inside the Pan Am Plaza, the tradition continues. Nothing is more American than baseball, except maybe hot dogs. But it's Cuba who's been the dominant power in international amateur baseball for decades. In fact, the Cubans came to Busch Stadium in August with a 20-year winning streak.
That unbroken string of 33 straight wins was cut by one swing of Ty Griffin's bat. Griffin's two-out, two-run homer in the bottom of the ninth gave the U.S. a pulsating 6-4 victory in the round-robin competition. Griffin had also homered from the other side of the plate in the seventh. Not bad for a second baseman regarded as a singles hitter. But the United States and Cuba were destined to meet again. Each qualified for the medal round of the best four teams. In its first medal game, Cuba fell behind Puerto Rico 5-1. But they battled back, tying the game of the eighth when pinch runner Lazaro Vargas stole third and came home on a throwing error by Puerto Rican catcher Jose Lorenzana. Cuba got the win in the ninth. Antonio Pacheco, who had struck out 3 times, led off. Pacheco hit a home run to send Cuba to the title game. The Americans also had a narrow escape in their semifinal game with Canada. At first, it looked like the U.S. might coast to victory. Third baseman Scott Livingstone smashed a 3-run homer as the U.S. roughed up Canada with 5 runs in the first. But Canada's Billy Bukowski took a Bill Slazarski pitch out of the park for a 3-run homer in the third, and the Canadians knotted the game at 5-all. In the bottom of the third, Livingstone, on his way to hitting for the cycle, singled in 2 runs to make the score 7-5 U.S. The game continued to be a nail-biter. One-handed pitcher Jim Abbott pitched 4+ innings of one-hit baseball to pick up the win. Abbott was born without a right hand, but the University of Michigan star is touted as a major league prospect.
It's not a handicap, you know. I've grown up, you know, ever since I was born, you know, learning to do things with one hand the way everybody else learned to do things with 2, and it was very easy for me, very natural.
In the 8th inning of the U.S.-Canada semifinal game, Canadian Greg Roth led off with a single off Abbott. In came Chris Carpenter, the right-hander with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Although Roth advanced to third with a potential tying run, Carpenter fanned Rick Johnston to escape the inning. In the 9th, one Canadian reached base, but Carpenter fielded the last grounder himself to protect the big American win. The U.S., 8-0 so far in the Pan Am Games, was headed for a second showdown with Cuba, who had won 7 and lost only to the U.S. This time, the game was for the gold. In the gold medal game, American right-hander Greg Olson got the ball to go up against Cuban lefty Pablo Abreu, who had given up Ty Griffin's game-winning home run just 1 week earlier. Abreu didn't make it through the first inning. He was the victim of his own wildness and shaky fielding. He walked 3 and a run scored on first baseman Luis Casanova's error. Jorge Valdez came in to pitch. A muffed grounder by shortstop Luis Glacia left the Americans on top 2-0, still with the bases loaded. Then what turned out to be a bad break for the U.S. The rains came and delayed the game an hour and a half. When action resumed, Valdez retired the side in the first. Olson, who looked strong in the first, got through the second without incident. But the third was a different story. Orestes Kindling hit a long home run. First baseman Casanova hit another, and it was 5-2 Cuba. The Americans got a run in the third, then took an 8-5 lead with 5 in the fourth, but Cuba soon tied it up. Then Ed Sprague batted in the 6th. Sprague slammed a home run, putting the U.S. up 9-8. It was then up to Chris Carpenter to try to save the victory, but the strain of pitching for the 3rd time in 4 days showed up. Carpenter got through the 7th, but in the 8th, a misplayed ground ball started a Cuban rally. Later in the inning, center fielder Victor Mesa faced Carpenter. Mesa's single to right drove in the first 2 runs off Carpenter at 18 1/3 innings of Pan Am competition. More important, the runs gave Cuba a 10-9 lead. 3 more in the 9th finished off the 5th straight gold medal for the Cuban baseball team. Carpenter had been awesome with the exception of 2 innings. The capacity crowd of over 12,000 gave him a standing ovation as he left. After the games, Carpenter signed with the St. Louis Cardinals, bypassing his senior year at the University of Georgia, where he pitched baseball and punted the football. But the young American team, made up of 18 and 19-year-olds who came together only a few weeks before the games, gave the world champion veteran Cubans all they could handle. And the United States qualified for the Olympics just by making the gold medal game. Puerto Rico won the bronze medal by routing Canada 12-2.
The Pan American Softball Tournament pointed out the strengths and weaknesses of American softball. U.S. women players learned the game early, and they dominated this competition, while American men start softball late, usually after playing baseball in high school or college. As a result, they've come up short all 3 times softball has been played in the Pan American Games. The Canadian-U.S. Championship matchup was a repeat of history, and so was the result. In the 4th inning, a single and a walk after 1 out put 2 Americans on base. Jevney's first pitch was wild. His second pitch was a pass ball, allowing a run to score. But it turned out to be the last run of the game. Final score, Canada 2, the U.S. 1. For the 3rd straight Pan Am competition, Canada got the gold, and the U.S. added to its silver collection. For the American women's softball team, it was simply a matter of giving the ball to one of 3 California pitchers and letting them throw a shutout. 17-year-old Michelle Granger was the star. She fired her 70-mile-an-hour fastball past batters for 4 shutouts, including a no-hitter, in which she struck out 16 of 19 batters. Ella Velke also had 2 shutouts. Going into the final game with Puerto Rico, the Americans had allowed opposing batters only 8 hits in 8 games. In the 2nd inning of the gold medal game, a single by Donna McElry brought home a run. With Wheatley and Granger finishing up, the U.S. women breezed to a 4-1 victory. In 3 Pan Am softball competitions, American women have won 2 golds and a silver medal. Puerto Rico got the silver medal this time, and Canada settled for the bronze after winning the gold 4 years ago. With stars like young Granger and the veteran Dottie Richardson, the U.S. may be building a softball dynasty in time for the next Pan Am Games and the 1992 Olympics, when softball makes its debut as a medal sport.
Boxers have no teammates when they enter the ring. They face their opponents alone. This dedication and willingness to put their skills on the line attracted thousands of fans to the Pan Am boxing competition.
Boxing great Sugar Ray Leonard was among the spectators in the capacity crowd of 6,800 people at the championship boxing matches. What they witnessed was controversy, allegations of politics, and great boxing. Early fighting in the games was not confined to the ring. Exiled Cubans and some members of the Cuban boxing delegation mixed it up in the stands. There were some arrests, but no prosecutions. Those Cuban boxers who let their fists do the talking in the ring were clearly superior to their opponents. Cubans won a record 10 of the 12 boxing gold medals. Their champions included the world middleweight title holder, Angel Espinosa, shown here in his gold medal match with Otis Grant of Canada. Espinosa won a unanimous decision from the 5 judges after this 3-round match. He knocked out his other 3 Pan Am opponents and was named the game's outstanding boxer. Most of the Cuban fighters are big hitters with strong right-hand leads, like heavyweight Felix Savon. Savon battled Argentina's Juan Diaz Nieves for the heavyweight gold. A close welterweight gold medal fight was expected when America's Kenny Gould tangled with Cuba's Juan Lemus. Gould crowded Lemus to get inside the Cuban's longer reach, but every time he crowded the taller boxer, referee Rafael Vega of Costa Rica moved the fighters apart. When the decision was announced, 4 of the judges awarded the fight to Lemus, only 1 to Gould. The American fighter from Rockford, Illinois, was heartbroken, but philosophical. "I thought I won," he said later, and a lot of the crowd agreed with him. One of the U.S. victories over Cuba was by Kelsey Banks of Chicago. It got him to the gold medal match against Emilio Villegas of the Dominican Republic. Banks pressed the attack against Villegas. The decision was unanimous. Kelsey Banks won the gold medal, the only gold medal for the American boxing team, and the only glitter in their worst showing in Pan American boxing since they were shut out in the first games in 1951. The experts are asking why Cuba is so superior in boxing. Banks believes the long competitive grind just to make the U.S. team is one reason. American coach Roosevelt Sanders says the Cubans have a superior weight training program. Aside from the politics and controversy that always surround international boxing, there is another story. Noting the young age of most of the athletes, a Pan Am volunteer media worker said, "The kids were wonderful. They were polite, excited, and pleased that so many people paid attention to them." In all, the Cubans won 36 of 38 Pan Am matches and 9 of 11 over American boxers. But the U.S. has a job to do before it goes for the gold in the Olympics in 1988.
If boxing proved disappointing for the U.S. team, swimming was another story. The Star Spangled Banner sure got a workout during the award ceremonies right here at the Natatorium.
The U.S. won a record 27 of the 32 swimming gold medals, like this victory by the women's 400-meter medley relay team, anchored by Sarah Linka. That race was one of 7 events in which American swimmers set new Pan Am records. Linka was the top U.S. medal winner, with 3 golds in relays and silvers in 2 individual events. Despite the avalanche of American medals, the outstanding individual swimmer was from Costa Rica. She was Sylvia Pohl, young at 16, tall at 6'2". Virtually unknown until now outside Latin America, she became a star and a force for the future. Sylvia's 3 gold medals were the first ever won by Costa Rica in 8 Pan Ams. Although her parents are West Germans and she was born in Nicaragua, she is a full-fledged national heroine in Costa Rica. Even the president's wife called her in Indianapolis. Pohl also won 2 silver medals in individual races and 2 bronzes in relays. Both of her silver medals came on the last day of competition. and it took rallies by Americans in the last second to beat her. In the 50-meter freestyle, Sylvia led early but was edged out by Jenny Thompson, a high school freshman from Dover, New Hampshire, by less than 0.3 of a second. Later the same day, Sylvia led Katie Welch, a senior in high school from St. Louis, going into the last 25 meters of the 200-meter backstroke. Welch won the gold with a Pan Am record time of 2 minutes 13.65 seconds. All 3 medal winners beat the old record. American Tammy Bruce of San Diego won 2 gold medals, setting a meet record in the 800-meter freestyle. 2 more gold medals were won by Bill Stapleton of the University of Texas, one of them in the 200-meter butterfly. American Tom Williams, a former University of Iowa swimmer, set a new record in the 50-meter freestyle, a new Pan Am event, and an automatic record not counted among the 7 established records broken by the U.S. As Williams paddled to victory, his father watched from the stands, only weeks after undergoing a heart transplant. The depth of American talent in swimming is shown in this 1-2 finish, one of 15 pulled off by the Americans. In this race, Belmont, Massachusetts high school senior Alex Kostic beat Lars Jorgensen of San Diego in the grueling men's 1,500 meters. Both Kostic and Jorgensen broke the old Pan Am record. The new record is 15 minutes, 20 and 91 seconds. The lone men's swimming event not won by an American was the 100-meter butterfly. Anthony Nesty of Suriname won in Pan Am record time. In all, American swimmers won 57 medals, 27 gold, 20 silver, and 10 bronze. Each of the 49 U.S. swimmers won at least 1 medal. The record haul is even more impressive than it seems. The top 2 finishers in each event in the pre-Pan Am U.S. Nationals meet went to the Pan Pacific Games in Australia. The 3rd and 4th place finishers competed in the Pan Ams. The swimmers put down the B-team talk by leaving competitors in their wake.
The United States also won gold medals in 2 lesser-known water sports. Elbows were flying as the U.S. and Cuba battled for the gold in water polo. Almost 5,000 fans shouted throughout the rough match, which was televised live to Cuba. The U.S. scored early to take the lead. America's Jim Bergeson, a 26-year-old investment banker from Newport Beach, California, scored 3 goals. Cuba's coach praised American goalie Craig Wilson, a 30-year-old computer software worker. Here, he puts a glitch in the Cuban offense. That's one of 10 saves in the match for Wilson. The U.S. wins its 3rd straight Pan Am water polo gold medal and its 3rd straight over Cuba, 6-4. Moving from the sometimes bruising to the beautiful, the U.S. swept 3 gold medals in individual, duo, and team synchronized swimming. Take time to enjoy part of the gold medal winning team performance by the Americans. Also winning the gold was Tracy Ruiz Conforto in the solo competition, and Karen and Sarah Josephson, 22-year-old twins and 3-time national champions from Bristol, Connecticut, in the duo event.
Diving, too, was a sport dominated by the Americans. Women got the gold medal in both springboard and platform diving, and I really enjoyed myself during this year's competition. On a personal note, it was great to compete at this beautiful natatorium to capacity crowds.
Perfection is a word used to describe Louganis at least 10 times in the Pan American Games, as he scored perfect 10 7 times in the springboard competition and 3 times from the platform. Louganis is called the Baryshnikov of the boards. The 26-year-old Californian won both men's titles with record point totals. It's the 3rd straight time he's won both the springboard and platform titles at Pan Am, making him the first triple-double winner in Pan Am history. Louganis gets his high point totals by attempting extremely challenging dives and executing them to near perfection. He's a crowd favorite and a superstar who is regarded as perhaps the best diver in history. He's also a compassionate friend. One of his gold medals is a proud possession of AIDS patient Ryan White of Cicero, Indiana. The silver medals were also won by Americans, Doug Schaefer from the springboard and Matt Scoggin off the platform. Both winners in women's diving established Pan Am point records. Michelle Mitchell, who trains with the same coach as Louganis, was the winner in women's platform diving. And the winner of the gold medal in springboard competition was Kelly McCormick. She's from Columbus, Ohio. As you watch, see if you remember her mother, Pat McCormick, perhaps the best woman diver in the history of the sport.
One of the best aspects of international sports competition is it allows the spectator to see dedicated athletes compete in sports that aren't particularly well known. But although these sports compete outside of the glare of the big arenas, they require the same commitment, the same skill and sacrifices from their athletes. Let's take a look at some of them now.
The classic lines of a rowing crew cutting through the water are among the most beautiful in sport. Canada was the biggest surprise, winning 4 golds among 12 medals. Argentina, Mexico, and Uruguay won gold medals in some of the smaller boat races. The United States team, which had been together only a few weeks, won 6 of 15 races, 5 silver medals, and 1 bronze. The strong U.S. team took 10 of 12 gold medals in the canoe-kayak competition. Norman Bellingham of Rockville, Maryland, won 2 golds, by himself in the 500-meter single kayak and teaming with Greg Barton in the 1,000-meter double kayak. Indianapolis's Bruce Merritt won the 1,000-meter single canoe gold. American women won all their races, and Cuba and Canada each won a single gold medal. Lake Michigan was the scene of the only Pan Am event held outside central Indiana. American boats won 6 of the 7 gold medals, with Canada tying the U.S. in the Star Class event. Argentina won the gold in the Lightning Class. It was a great showing for the U.S., especially since they did no better than bronze when the sailing races were held on Lake Michigan in 1959, when Chicago hosted the games.
Indianapolis is the scene of the world's most famous auto race, and it is fast becoming a hotbed of bicycle racing since the construction of the Major Taylor Velodrome, named for an Indianapolis bike racer from earlier in the century. 3 Indianapolis bikers, Mark Gorski, Carl Sundquist, and Connie Paris-Skevin, were medal winners for the U.S. Pan Am team. Overall, American men won gold medals in 3 of 7 cycling events. American women cyclists won all 3 gold medals in the first ever Pan Am women's cycling competition, plus 2 silvers. There was Pan Am racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The United States beat nearest rival Cuba by nearly 5 minutes in the 100-kilometer team race.
A lot of people think team handball is a new sport. Actually, the game has been around for decades. But this fast indoor sport that resembles soccer and basketball made its debut in the 10th Pan Am Games. American men, seeded second, won an upset over top-seeded Cuba in round-robin play, then played the Cubans again in a tough championship game. The Cubans and Americans battled to overtime with the winning goal scored by America's Peter Lash, the highest score for the tournament with 35 goals. The U.S. beat Cuba 34-32. American women were the top-seeded handball team. They were undefeated in the 4-game round-robin. Second-seeded Canada played aggressively in the gold medal game. Mo Latner scored 3 goals in the second half of the final game as the Americans won a close game 22-20 to capture the gold medal. Brazil took the bronze medal in both the men's and women's team handball events. Both American teams qualified for the Olympics with their gold medal wins.
Field hockey moved inside the convention center for the Pan Am Games. Like team handball and roller hockey, this unusual team sport for Indiana drew good-sized, curious Hoosier crowds. This 4,000-year-old game featured another modern touch. Besides an indoor artificial playing field, some of the players handled aluminum sticks. The blades are still wooden as called for in the rules. In the women's gold medal games, Argentina held off the challenge of the U.S. women. Both teams qualified for the Olympics. Canada won the bronze. In men's competition, the strong Canadian team broke 2 Pan Am scoring records on their way to a perfect 6-0 record and the gold medal. The U.S. won the bronze medal game 4-2 over Chile.
The Pan Am weightlifting contest was held in the beautiful Circle Theater, home of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra. At center stage was Roberto Tony Urrutia, 3-time world champion lifter from Cuba, who defected to the United States in 1980. Urrutia competed in the middleweight division for the U.S., combating his former countryman for the first time. Though he did well, Urrutia was beaten by 2 Cubans and won a bronze medal. In fact, Cuba dominated the weightlifting meet by winning 25 of the 34 gold medals. Their strength was evident in the lower to middleweight classes. Canada finished second in golds with 6 and third in overall medals. The U.S. was second in overall medals and third in golds. All 3 American gold medals were won by Mario Martinez in the super heavyweight class. But it was the Cubans who had the most weight in gold to carry home.
Pan Am wrestling competition was fairly even between the U.S. and Cuba. Cubans had the better in Greco-Roman wrestling with 7 golds to 3 for the U.S. But one of the American golds was captured by David Butler of Eaton, Indiana. He won in the 163-pound weight class. Freestyle wrestling was more to America's liking. The U.S. won 6 golds, Cuba 3, and Canada 1. The heaviest weight class, the super heavyweight, was dominated by Bruce Baumgartner of Haledon, New Jersey. Baumgartner was also world champion and won the NCAA title while at Indiana State University. Packed houses supported the wrestlers, and one volunteer commented that camaraderie was so high that Cuban officials even stopped accompanying their wrestlers to news conferences with Western reporters.
Cuban men and American women dominated the fencing competition. The biggest controversy in fencing was the question of when is an amateur athlete a pro? U.S. fencers all have full-time jobs. Cuba's do not. The U.S. won gold in women's foil and foil team. Overall, Cuba won 6 golds and Canada won.
The new Hoosier Horse Park near Edinburgh in Johnson County was built especially for the Pan Am Games. Good crowds turned out to watch, and they were surprised to see Canada's strong showing. The Canadians won 6 medals in all, 4 of them gold. The favorite American team also won 6 medals, but only 2 were gold. They were won in the 3-day event, a combination of dressage, cross-country, and show riding. Mike Huber of Norman, Oklahoma won the individual 3-day title and anchored the victorious American team.
Taekwondo, or Korean martial arts, emphasizes grace, timing, and sharp kicks to the head and chest, plus punches to the chest. Sellout crowds of over 2,000 showed up for all 3 days of competition and saw the U.S. win 6 out of the 8 gold medals, including this one by America's Chris Spence in the featherweight division.
The United States and Cuba tied for the most medals in judo with 13 each. Each country also won 4 gold medals. Brazil was tops with 5 golds. The U.S. men's and women's judo teams each won 2 gold medals.
The Pan Am tennis competition was held on the clay courts at the Indianapolis Sports Center. American teams won 9 gold medals in both men's and women's doubles. Luke Jensen and Patrick McEnroe, brother of John McEnroe, won the men's title. Ronnie Reese and Sonia Hahn won the women's gold. Brazil took the gold in both men's and women's singles competition, while Mexico took the gold in mixed doubles.
International table tennis is far removed from the basement game played by most people. By finals day, the 2,300-seat Carmel Racquet Club was sold out. The United States won 6 medals, including 3 gold medals. 35-year-old Insuk Bushan figured in all of them. Canada also took the gold in men's singles, winning the most medals with 7.
Bullseye after bullseye for the United States archery team. They broke several records in sweeping the 4 gold medals. The men's singles winner was Jay Bars of Mesa, Arizona. The champion female was the Pan Am's youngest competitor, 13-year-old Denise Parker of South Jordan, Utah. Michelle Borders of Indianapolis was on the champion women's team.
There were several close 10-shot shoot-offs in the shooting competition at Camp Atterbury and the Indiana Gun Club. New records were set in 7 of the 16 events, including the automatic trap, where Dan Carlisle of California hit a phenomenal 198 out of 200 targets for world and Pan Am records.
The modern pentathlon, which involves shooting, fencing, riding, swimming, and running, was won by an experienced American, 26-year-old Robert Stahl. Barry Kennedy of Canada was second, and Harvey Kane of the U.S. won the bronze.
A disappointing loss to Argentina in the gold medal game for roller hockey left the U.S. scrambling to develop a roller hockey program in time to be competitive in the 1992 Olympics, when the game is a demonstration sport for the first time. The skilled Argentinians outdueled the Americans 4-3.
As an athlete, I know that competing in the Pan American Games is an incredible experience, one you'll never forget. But it's not just the competition that you remember. It's the people you meet, the new friends that you'll see in future competitions. For many, this August, these friendships were formed at the Athletes' Village, specially created for the Games at Fort Benjamin Harrison.
The population of the Athletes' Village peaked at about 6,000 and dwindled through the Games as athletes completed their events and left. The main street was a temporary small town, complete with a department store, barber shop, and pinball arcade. The biggest sellers, as you might expect, were several things the athletes can't find at home. So they bought a lot of junk food, magazines, remote control cars, stereo equipment, and an American favorite, blue jeans. This, plus its spirit of camaraderie, made living in the Athletes' Village truly a unique experience.
You know, many existing facilities got a facelift for the Games, like Indianapolis' old CYO football field, which was remodeled into a 12,000-seat soccer stadium. The action that new stadium saw during the soccer competition made the transformation worth the effort.
The hysteria generated by international soccer may remind Hoosiers of the hysteria they experience every March at basketball tourney time. America's traditionally overmatched team lost only one game, but failed to make the medal round of the final 4 teams. Even so, the Americans were judged the best U.S. team since 1959 and appeared capable of qualifying for the 1988 Olympics. There was controversy. The most serious incident was in the semifinal match between Brazil and Mexico. A Mexican team trainer ran onto the field and tripped a Brazilian player who had earlier fought with a Mexican player. Players crowded onto the field, and the game was called with 56 seconds left in overtime, and Brazil ahead 1-0. Chile lost 6 players during the tournament for flagrant fouls, but they moved into the gold medal game against Brazil by beating Argentina. The gold medal game started slowly, then built to a fever pitch as Brazil's Nelson Kirchner and Chile's Rene Pinto were ejected for fighting. Volunteer, who is a veteran soccer official, said the international quality of play was excellent at the Games. An overflow crowd of 14,000 seemed to agree, encouraging each team during the gold medal game. In overtime, Brazil's Washington Santos broke the scoring drought. Brazil won the gold 2-0, while underdog Chile earned a hard-fought silver, and Argentina beat Mexico for the bronze medal.
For years, the U.S. has dominated international basketball. One of the biggest upsets in Pan Am history happened right here at Market Square Arena.
Early Pan Am basketball games gave no indication of any trouble for the Americans. Led by David Robinson, Danny Manning, Keith Smart, Rex Chapman, and Pooh Richardson, they blew away opponents by an average of 30 points a game. Coach Denny Crum looked like a lock to add the Pan Am title to the crown he won with Louisville in 1980 at Market Square Arena. But against Puerto Rico, the U.S. ran into stiff opposition for the first time. Jose Ortiz hit 22 points in the first half that ended in a 39 all-time. Crum had tried several players on Ortiz, but he assigned Robinson to guard Ortiz in the second half. It worked. The U.S. pulled out an 80-75 victory to move into the final game. Even though Puerto Rico showed the Americans could be tested, the headline in the paper on the morning of the gold medal game left no doubt what was expected. The U.S., with its depth of talented college players who will likely have pro careers, was expected to easily win the gold medal. The U.S. had a tradition, a 34-game Pan Am winning streak, and had only lost the gold medal once in 1971 to Brazil. But this was not the same Brazilian team. It was basically a two-man squad. How could they win? The gold medal game started with Robinson hitting inside, Chapman hitting outside, and Richardson connecting with the frontline talent. The Americans sprinted to a 20-point lead near the end of the half, but then Marcel Souza hit a three-pointer to cut the halftime lead to 16. Somehow, Brazil sensed a miracle in the making. The second half was an awesome offensive show by Souza and Oscar Schmidt. They were at least 8 years older than their opponents. Souza is 30 and had just completed medical school before the games, but he cut the nets for 30 points on that day. Schmidt, at 29, is a seasoned pro in the Italian league, as is Souza. Schmidt, a 6'6" forward, found his rhythm in the second half. No shot was too long to take, and hit. He hit 6 three-pointers in the second half, 35 points in the half, and 46 in the game. His 35 points per game average led all Pan Am scorers. But it was more than Schmidt's shooting eye that captivated the shocked crowd. It was his obvious joy, his elation at what was to happen next. Brazil got its first lead midway in the second half as Schmidt hit 3 straight three-pointers. Brazil hit 13 three-pointers in the game, but there were only 2 for the U.S. With this one by Souza, Brazil took the lead for good at 98-96 with 6:32 left. In the stretch run, the Americans missed key shots. Robinson fouled out with a game-high 20 points, and the Brazilians drilled the basket. At the buzzer, it was 120-115 Brazil, one of the greatest upsets in international basketball history. The pictures tell the story. The American women's team did as expected. They pulled away from Brazil in the second half of their gold medal game to win 111-87. Katrina McClain led the way with 30 points and 11 rebounds in a dominating performance. The Georgia All-American turned it on with less than 14 minutes to play and the U.S. nursing a 4-point lead. From then on, it was a non-stop trip to the winner's platform. In the bronze medal games, Puerto Rico won the men's medal and Canada took the women's bronze.
Every 2 or 3 years, America grooms another crop of young, charismatic, world-class gymnasts. This year's Pan Am squad combined the experience of seasoned performers like Olympic champions Scott Johnson and Tim Daggett with the talent of new stars like Christy Phillips and Sabrina Marr.
The American women gymnasts broke records for the team gold medal score, individual all-around, and individual floor exercise. 15-year-old Christy Phillips shrugged off a fall from the balance beam with a record score in floor exercise. Phillips also won the silver medal as part of an American sweep in the all-around. Went to Sabrina Marr of California. The young California resident had been sidelined most of 1987 with a painful curvature of the spine, but she set a Pan-American record in the all-around. In fact, all 3 American medalists broke the 24-year-old mark. In all, U.S. women won 5 golds, 3 silvers, and 3 bronze medals. On the men's side, Scott Johnson led the way for the U.S. He won the gold medal for all-around, still rings, and parallel bars. Tim Daggett added another gold on the pommel horse. The American men's team won the overall gold medal with over 577 points, breaking the all Pan Am record by 5 points. They claimed the record despite key injuries to Daggett, Charles Lakes, and Brian Ginsberg. Johnson and Daggett, you may remember, helped the 1984 Olympic team to a gold medal and appear ready to lead the way in Seoul in 1988. While the Americans won 5 gold medals, Cuba's gymnasts won the other 3 golds awarded for men's competition. The balance of youth and experience on the men's and women's Pan Am gymnastics teams was good for a record golden performance. In rhythmic gymnastics, the Cubans took home 3 of the 5 gold medals, with America's Diane Simpson winning the other 2 golds in rope and ribbon events.
Volleyball. A game that grew up on California beaches came to Hinkle Fieldhouse for the Pan Am Games. And the competition wasn't the only thing heating up. Despite temperatures of over 100 degrees, the crowds that came out to Pan Am Volleyball were some of the largest.
More than 10,000 people turned out for the women's gold medal match, won by Cuba 3-0 over Peru. The powerful Cuban team was the class of the women's competition. But the U.S. and other teams also treated the fans to 5 days of first-class volleyball. America's squad was young and inexperienced, but it reached the bronze medal game against Brazil. Angela Rock, at 5'8", the star outside hitter of the U.S. team, led an exciting victory over Brazil with 22 spikes. The U.S. won the bronze 3-1 over Brazil. Meanwhile, the American men's team was trying to pull off a grand slam. They had already won the 1984 Olympics, the 1985 World Cup, and the World Championship in 1986. The U.S. won early games, except for a surprise loss to Brazil. But they recovered to beat Argentina in a thrilling semifinal match. On the last day of the games, the U.S. and Cuba, the top 2 seeds in the tournament, met on the volleyball court to decide the last gold medal of the 10th Pan Am Games. The Americans got off to a 2-0 lead. Just 1 more to go. But Cuba rallied and tied the match at 2-all. Now, it was 1 game, 15 points for the gold medal. As the match heated up, almost 15,000 screaming fans urged the U.S. on. Karch at 6'3", is regarded as the best volleyball player in the world. He came up with 33 kills, like this, and 11 digs. Blocker Steve Timmons helped out with 33 kills of his own. Cuba pulled even at 7-7 of the final game. Then, the U.S. scored 6 straight points to move the tally to 13-7. By this time, crowd noise was preventing the Cuban players from communicating with each other. Two more points, and it was over. The American men's volleyball team had won the last gold medal of the Games. in an exciting 3-2 victory over the tough Cubans. The United States was the top medal-winning country with a record 369 medals, almost 100 more than they won in the 1983 games in Venezuela. The Americans also won 168 gold medals, another Pan Am record. Cuba, the host of the 1991 games, was second in medals with 175 and in golds with 75.
I've really enjoyed remembering the 10th Pan American Games and being able to share some of the memories with you. Thanks for joining me. But there's still one more event, the closing ceremonies.
On behalf of the 10th Pan American Games Organizing Committee, the Pan American Sports Organization, the judges, officials, and athletes of the 38 participating nations, we welcome you to the closing ceremony.
Within 2 hours after that thrilling volleyball win, Americans, Cubans, Brazilians, and athletes from all the 38 countries who participated in the Pan American Games joined for the last time for the closing ceremonies held in the Hoosier Dome. There were official farewells.
And today, with that feeling in my heart, today, the 23rd of August of 1987, in the name of the Pan American Sports Organization, I declare the 10th Pan American Games officially closed.
But the most important farewells were those from competitor to competitor, volunteer to volunteer, friend to friend. It was a harvest of gold in medals and in memories. In the summer of 1987, Indianapolis played host to the Western Hemisphere. And the city's enthusiastic warmth and gracious welcome can be summed up in the words of one Cuban athlete. He said, "The spectators at my events applauded good performances by everyone." It's that kind of impression that Indianapolis left with the athletes and with the world. It was a summer of action and athletes, countries, controversies. It was a summer of gold and of glory.